What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tales of the Underdog. Today I have the privilege and the honor to be able to interview somebody, a gentleman that I just recently got introduced to him not too long ago. I've seen him on Instagram and all that, but I just recently saw him at Driven, I think it was 7, and he went on stage, killed it, and since then I've just been obsessed with everything he has to say on social media, who he is, what's he about. Daniel G, thank you so much for being here, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Exciting.
Honestly, I haven't followed you that long. I have seen you on social media here and there before the Driven 7, but when I saw you, we were front row. When I saw you at Driven and you just spoke, man, you spoke with so much conviction. My whole team got obsessed with you. Everybody started to follow you. Good. And it's just been, like, just seeing your content has been amazing, man, especially because you focus a lot on sales and all that. Can you tell a little bit of the audience, a little bit of what exactly your background is, what you specialize in and all that?
For sure, yeah. So I came in, and I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. I grew up, I think everybody in life just goes through the same event in different detail, right? You were talking about this, like, being the underdog. It's like, everybody goes through that moment inside of their life where they wake up, right? Sales was my wake up period, and that happened at a young age. Like, my wake up when I was 14, it's like the light bulb moment when you're like, shit, a point of realization. My wake up happened 14 years old, 13 and a half, my parents broke up. And, at 14, I remember when I was young, I used to go to the grocery store with my father. I put a candy down on the conveyor belt. My dad looks at me, he's like, you're not getting that today. And there's a moment in your life where you're like, shit, nothing's gonna be handed to me, right? And it was there. It was 14 years old. Some people hit that when they're 25, 30. They're like, oh shit, I gotta start working my ass off. Nobody's gonna help me out inside of life. Politicians, nobody's gonna freaking wipe my ass. Mine was 14 years old. I'm like, okay, wait. My dad's not gonna buy me an 87 cents candy. Parents just split up. I got the gig. I'm like, okay, shit, I gotta start hustling and start making money. So before I got my first sales job, I was selling everything like everybody, selling CDs, candy in high school. And then I found my first door-to-door sales job when I was 14 years old. I was knocking on doors. We'd sell a door-to-door aeration service. So it was door-to-door sales. We'd poke holes in people's grass. So I had a door-to-door aeration sales job, was making $500 to $1,000 on the weekend. And, at that time, I started to figure out, I'm like, oh shit, everything that I've been taught when I was young was a complete lie about money. Like, I started understanding the flaws and all the messages that I was been taught since I was young. Because you're taught, hey, go to school, get good grades, make good money, get a good job, etc. And I was like, well, shit, I already figured this thing out. At 14, my first weekend inside of sales, I made $800, I think, knocking on doors.
No way.
Yeah, so it's just interesting because, you're programmed to say, hey, shit, go to school and make a lot of money. And I'm going to school. I'm not doing well in school, but then I go get this sales job and I go make a lot of money. So I'm starting to think, okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm knocking on doors. I'm making anywhere average between $500, a good week, $1,000 in commissions at 14 and a half. And then you think, it's like, why did nobody ever come up to Daniel and say, hey, bro, you should be in sales for the rest of your life? No teacher, no school, the school system, aunts, uncles, parents. Nobody ever came up to me and said, you should be in sales for the rest of your life. They said, why your algebra grades low? Why your chemistry grades low? Why is your English grades low? And I always say, like, oh shit, something's fucked up here. What? Like, you're born to win. And even me, I was doing good. And I say, but you're programmed to lose inside of life. That's even for somebody that was great inside of sales. So I was 14 thinking of all this shit. I'm like, I'm being lied to. They say I have to go to school to make a lot of money. I couldn't even focus in class, bro. I was making $1,000 on the weekend. And that was a lot of money 15 years ago. I'm 30 now. Yeah. $1,000 on the weekend for any kid's a lot of money. I used to bring home stacks of cash, put it underneath the bed. And then I'm like, well, something's freaking wrong here. So, I just had these, I've been in sales since I was young. From that moment, I realized, I'm like, okay, this is the best career that will accept me. I wasn't great at school. I couldn't focus inside of school. And I just stayed in that career for my whole life ever since now till today. I was in direct sales, door-to-door sales till I was about 18 years old. Then I got involved in college and university, bad period of my life, dropped out, went right back into direct sales. I got a medical device sales job for 4.5 years. That's where I made a lot of money in B2B sales. And then fast forward till today, I'll just give the quick story. I opened up my own sales agency where I was thinking, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of salespeople like myself that are young inside of sales. Let me hire these guys and let me outsource them to other sales companies, consultants, coaches online that need salespeople. This was 5 years ago when I was building out my company, 6 years ago. And I just started, training somebody. I was like the love matchmaker. I'd find a salesperson, find an offer, match them up, pair them up, and outsource them out. Training was always just a byproduct of me, of my nature. Like I've always just been good at sales training. I've been sales training since I was 15 years old in my first door-to-door sales job. And I always say, training, because people are like, what do you mean you've been training since you're 14? I'd say, yeah, when you earn the most, you got to train your teams, right? The person that gets to train and, holds the mic inside of life is the person making the most money. I was making the most money at 15, 16 inside of my organization. They would be like, Daniel, how do you deal with this objection? When the wife says, let me think about it door-to-door, train the whole teams, and we'd have like a warehouse of sales guys. So I always love sales training, but it doesn't pay money.
Right.
It doesn't pay money if you don't have an audience. If nobody knows you, you don't make money inside of the coaching, speaking, training space. And I knew this game. I had friends already in this space when I was like 20, 21. They would tell me, they're like, hey, this space doesn't pay money until it pays money.
Got it.
And I'm like, I get what you mean. They're like, it doesn't pay until it pays.
Okay.
Right? It's like, it doesn't meet you in the middle. It's not like you're going to make 4,000 every single month, steady 20,000. It's like, no, you need to have an audience. People need to know who you are, etc. Your fee has to be high in order for you to make big money. Right? So I said, okay, I'm going to build out this company. And on the side, I'll just do the sales training thing, the branding thing on the side, because I have money coming in from my agency and my company and my sales. And then, I only left to go do my sales training and doing what I'm doing now on the road, speaking, training companies, etc., when my business was able to grow without me being inside the business.
Okay.
Right? I think some people leave business too early, like completely leave. I think some people leave their business, and if you check out for a month, their business dies without them. And they're like, well, you don't have a business.
Right.
But
Daniel, going back to that moment where your dad denied you to have that chocolate bar or that candy, okay, prior to that, what were you doing before that? Or where did you learn all that knowledge? Because it seems like you just took off and everything.
Yeah.
That's my first question. My second one was, were you born like with a silver spoon? Did your parents make a lot of money? Did your dad make a lot of money and all that?
No, absolutely not. My parents were middle class, went from middle class to middle lower class when they broke up.
Okay.
My dad was in sales. My dad was in real estate sales and suit sales. He was he sold suits. And my grandmother was in sales. She worked for a direct sales network marketing company. It was called Avon. I don't know if you know what Avon is.
I remember that.
She still works till today. It's crazy. She worked for that company for 65 years.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy to me. I'm like, wow, she's worked for a network marketing company for 65 years. Some people get inside a business and they're like, oh, I'm quitting my business. They don't not right compensation or not the right product. I think back to my grandmother. I'm like, holy shit, my grandmother's worked in the same sales company for 65 years. So I tell fucking people and they're like, oh, I'm thinking about quitting my sales job. I'm like, dude, you haven't even started. Like if you think about quitting and it's been under 6 months, it's like, quitters deserve a title. You have to earn a title to quit.
Right.
I'm like, you haven't even earned the fucking title to quit. You're a non-starter.
Yeah.
It's like quitting implies that you busted your ass off. You talked to hundreds and hundreds of people and you did some shit and now you're going to quit. I'm like, you can't say you're a quitter when you haven't even freaking started sales. My grandmother's been in sales in Avon for, 65 years. I'm like, if she quits, she earns the title of quitting her freaking business. Right? So, because everybody thinks everything's like, my company, that company has a better product or a better compensation plan. I'm like, if you suck, you suck, you suck. Like anybody great in sales can go freaking sell in Antarctica. My grandfather would always say, he's like, because I'd always be like, when I was in Canada, I grew up in Toronto, Canada. He said, hey, I'd be like, no, one day, Italian grandfather said, I want to go to Miami, Florida, where I live now. I'm like, I think I'm going to make more money there. He's like, well, no, you're not. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, is there poor people in Miami, Florida? I said, yeah. He's like, is there rich people in Miami, Florida? I said, yeah. He says, are there poor people in Antarctica? I said, I guess. He's like, is there rich people probably there? I said, yeah, probably. He's like, exactly. He said, it has nothing to do with the fucking location. Yeah. It has everything to do with you. He's like, there's poor and rich people everywhere. It has nothing to do with the location, right? So going back to the question, no, my parents were middle to middle lower class. And I just always had the tenacity to just win. So when I got into sales, my mindset was the moment I got inside, it's good that like winning inside of business equals money, which was new for me because like I was just in sports my whole life. I played soccer growing up, right? So I just came from a competitive mindset. So when I had an organization of 100 people doing door-to-door sales, I'm like, well, first I got to be the best, right? So that was always my mentality. It wasn't even about money. I didn't even know the money I was making at the end of the night. They just said knock on doors, sell the service. I didn't even know the commission. I didn't know what the word commission was. I got an $850 a day with my bonus at the end of the night. And I'm like, okay, so this is what winning gets you, right? Yeah. So I just had a winning mentality inside of business, right? And that's also being lost today too. Like a kid came up to me yesterday. He's like, yo, man, he's like, what drives you? I said, just the simple fact of winning. That's it. Like money will be a byproduct of fucking winning inside a business. You beat everybody, you'll make the most money. It's like, but like people are like almost okay of just getting by now. That's why nobody wins anymore because they're like, how do I just get by? It was interesting. I was in Colombia a couple months ago, and I'm sitting down with one of my friends, and we're watching this soccer game, and I asked her, I'm like, hey, why has Colombia never won a World Cup? They're such good players, you know? And you look at all these soccer teams, some soccer teams have great players, but you're like, why have they never won a World Cup? It's always the same people winning World Cups, Argentina, Italy, Germany, Brazil, right? I'm like, why has Colombia never won a World Cup? She looks at me and she says, well, you know, every single time Colombia qualifies and they get inside the World Cup, they celebrate as if they won. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, that. She's like, yeah, the streets shut down. People are going freaking nuts. They celebrate as if they already won the World Cup. And I'm like, that's why they never win, because they play to get in. They don't play to win. And then I'm like, that's like what people do inside of business. They play just like, man, if I could just make my bills this month, it would be freaking great. Right. And you never get what you just play to, play for. So yeah, so that was my attitude. Just win. Just beat everybody.
So Daniel, you get into it, right? You get into sales. It sounds like it's in your genes. Your parents, your grandparents, everybody has been into sales, right? Especially commission sales, because real estate and Avon and all that, if you don't sell, you don't make anything. So it sounds like it's in your DNA. But in the time where you made your first $850, $1,000, that's a lot of money for a young kid.
Yeah.
What'd your parents think? Like, what was their reaction? Did you even tell them?
Yeah, I came home with the cash to my dad. I'm like, I literally came home and I'm like, hey, let's count this, because I didn't know at the end of the night what I made. I'm like, hey, let's count all this money. It was like, it had dirt on it. But Dad's like, you made this today? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, nice. And then, nobody thought, I told my whole family I was making money, but nobody ever told me, hey, stay in the sales gig, right? They don't know any better. Even like my dad's thinking like, my dad wasn't somebody that became super successful inside of sales. So because of that thought process inside of his head, he's probably saying, well, sales is not going to make my son rich, because that was my father's reality, right? Think of sales is not going to make my son rich. I'm in sales. I'm only making 60, maybe 70,000 at my best as a manager inside of a store. Supporting 2 kids wasn't enough now at the time, because he had to pay for my mother's mortgage at the time. So he wasn't encouraging me to be inside of sales. Nobody was encouraged.
Even though it was a huge, because I'm sure that's a lot. I mean, first of all, if my kid came and he's 14 and he makes that kind of money, even now, I'd be like, he has a gift, or he has something with him, right? You didn't think like that?
Yeah, no, but nobody at the time. Like, it's interesting. It's not, it's good that you're asking this question about the 850, because I always think like you. I'm like, how the fuck has nobody come up to me and said like, bro, this is nuts. This is not normal. Right. Like, this is scary. But I also say it's like, this was majority of people. We just get suffocated very early on inside of sales. Like, if somebody's watching this right now, I can guarantee, if I'm like, how many of you guys fucking sold chocolates? Everybody would be like, yeah, man, I sold those chocolates. Remember? It was for charity. People used to sell chocolates. Yeah. We used to do that in Canada. You sell chocolates, right? Then you would somehow, some way come home and you'd sell all the chocolates. You get rid of them all. Inside of sales, or it's not a real profession, you just back out. And majority, like 99% of people will get a sales job. 95% of people will end up quitting sales. You will sell something inside of your life. It's just because you weren't programmed that sales is, an actual career where you can make a lot of money. Right. You can never outperform what people told you your profession's worth. So you back out of it. But everybody's, I think, been in sales since they were young.
And it's funny that you say that, because, and I'm sure you've heard this, but I've had people on my team, including, Kim and everybody who's young on my team who's developing, and I'm helping them and mentoring them. And you hear a lot. You don't necessarily need to own a company to become a millionaire and become very successful, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. think of the barrier to entry inside of sales. What I mean by that is this. It's like, okay, when you go get a job, the barrier to entry that job, let's say if it's a career, like you become an architect or a doctor or an engineer, you got to go to school for 10 years and pay a shit ton of money. So when you get inside of that job, you put your respect based on how much you pay to get inside. The barrier to entry inside of sales is freaking free. Right. It accepts everybody with open arms and say, hey, come here. If you can freaking work your ass off, you can get paid a shit ton of money. So you never grow up inside of life being like, oh, I want to be a salesperson. It accepts you and you fall into sales. We've all fell into it. We didn't grow up saying I want to be a salesperson. And because you don't pay a shit ton of money to get inside of sales, it's why majority of people fucking fail inside of sales. Because they're like, well, I didn't pay much to get inside of this thing. So most people's attention is based on what they paid to get inside, not based on what they can make inside of the future. Right. So they put their attention based on the barrier to entry, which is nothing. It accepts all of us. If you're a jackass, it says come in with open arms. If you could work, you get paid a shit ton of money. But majority of people don't think like that. They're like, well, you know what? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Then I tell people, I'm like, well, money is not the most valuable thing you could, pay. It's your time. And you've been stuck in the sales job for 6 years. You deserve to make a lot of money, right? And it pays you out the highest. That's the thing. It's like people don't understand. It's the stats mess up everything, but it is the highest paying sales job. Sales is the highest paying job. It's just that the people that quit mess up the stats. It has the potential always to make the most money more than anybody else. So I always say, look at the potential. Don't look at the barrier. Because when you focus on like how easy it was to get a job, that's where your respect goes to. Right. That's why people don't respect real estate, direct sales, network marketing, because it was a little bit easier than to become a doctor or lawyer or engineer.
But do you think it's because the way they make it seem? Because I've done network marketing and all that, and they make it seem like, oh man, you're gonna be a millionaire next couple months and everything. But it's just like any other business. You got to put in the work.
Correct.
You got to knock the doors. You got to make the cold calls. You got to do all of that. You know what I mean? And you got to self-develop as you're going. So it's not that easy. Is there some people that make it quicker than others? Yeah, but ultimately, at the end of the day, like it takes time. It takes years for you to really self-develop, really build a brand, really build, your sales skills and all that. And so, I guess my question is, there's an old reputation that people in sales were saying, oh, people are like shysty and all that. I think it came from salespeople. Where do you think that went off? Like where people would be like, oh, sales is, I don't want to do, because people always say, I don't want to do sales. I don't want to be like a shysty and all that. Where do you think that came from?
Probably, just from movies and the way sales is portrayed. Again, it's not, if it's not in the school systems, of course, it's going to be shysty and slimy. It's not in the school system. So whatever people can't control, it's going to be negative. The school system didn't control it, so it's going to be negative.
So do you think it's a government thing that makes
yeah, of course.
It seem that way?
It's never taught to us inside of school. So like you're not programmed to have a sales job. If you were, it would have a whole different perspective inside of sales. It's why I bust my ass off, to be honest with you, on the road. People ask me, they're like, man, why do you go so hard and you train sales? I'm like, well, shit, man, I never knew this was possible, right? Like I always thought this, like I never even knew getting a medical device sales job was possible. Nobody knows like network marketing, it's possible to make $1 million. Like nobody tells us that inside of school. So you go through your whole life, even if you get the opportunity, you can't outperform what you've been told when you were young. So sometimes you don't even know, like you're inside of $1 million opportunity because you'll just go back to say like, nobody's ever told me sales can make $1 million. Of course, it's like, you just think of how you're raised going back to it. It's like nobody ever teaches you how to say hi to somebody, how to communicate with somebody, how to shake somebody's hand, how to deal with fights inside of a relationship, etc. All these things, which is communication, you're never taught it when you're young. So of course you're grown up like, when people are like, well, I'm an introvert. Well, of course you're an introvert. Of course you're supposed to say you're introverted. You weren't programmed to talk inside of school. You're programmed to shut up and listen to a teacher. 95% of your programming was shut up, you speak too much, you're going to get detention. They didn't teach us how to communicate. So of course, it's like if they make people, this is the way I see life. If everybody was made just too powerful and into a salesperson like a Daniel G, the world wouldn't go freaking round. Yeah. Like think of it. It just wouldn't go round. The teachers don't even know. It's not like your teacher's fault. Teachers just doing what they're doing. They're just programmed to do what they're doing. But if not everybody could be like a Daniel G. That's okay. The world won't go round like that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. One thing that I tell my team, and because I get people who want to, for some reason, they feel that if they start their own company and they start it from scratch, like they have this thing where they're like, oh, you know what, like it's mine, it belongs to me. And I tell people who go on my team, I'm like, listen, like I already did the bullshit work. It took me 10 years to make $100,000. okay, to make my first 100 grand. After that, I just started like stacking really fast because I got it, you know what I mean? But in the beginning, I had to, like I told you, I had to wash the cars, do all that, pass the flyers. I didn't know any better. Nobody was teaching me anything. I was 25 years old, getting off of drugs, a dropout from 9th grade. I used to sell drugs. I was an immigrant from El Salvador. So the hustle was there. I just didn't know any better. I just knew how to work really hard. So I always tell people on my team, I'm like, listen, I've already surpassed that shit. Like, you could come into this company. We've surpassed 6 figures, 7 figures. If you can be really great into this company, you don't have to do all the bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And I just, for me, duplicate that and turn it into ours and something that nobody's ever done in the kickboxing community.
Specifically for kickboxing.
Yeah, especially for kickboxing, which is like you have a membership, you have a front desk, you have a sales team, you have trainers, you have classes, you have app-based, you have everything. We're open 7 days a week. We have 60 classes. Maybe we can do what they did. And that's what we did. We try to duplicate as best as possible what they were doing. And it hit, you know what I mean? We turned something that was negative, that my business partner was going out of business, into we made 30 grand, our first 6 figures. Then we just crossed over just under 2 million, you know what I mean, last year. And it was like, it works. But what we found ourselves, especially with Kim and all that, I was like, we need to find somebody who's really great at sales. And this is where your name came up, is like, who can help us to take us to the next level, where Kim can now, what she's good at, turn it over to other people and really find that talent from there, because she was kind of self-developed as we were growing.
Correct.
So we're kind of like, we're not sure what we did right, but we did something right. Now, how can we turn it over to other people?
Well, saying this at Driven, I don't know if you remember this, but I started this off. Now I remember what I was talking about at Driven. Did you brought that up? I got on stage and I was teaching people the death cycle of sales. I was like, listen, you get inside of sales, you suck. Right? It's like, you guys get into your business, you suck. You're making 30,000 a year. Now you're making 2 million a year, right? So it's like, so everybody has a baseline where they start off. So you suck in the beginning, and this is the death of every single person. You get in, you suck. The only thing you can do is work your ass off, right? So it's like, you start working your ass off, which is like your numbers inside of sales. Then you start getting a little bit better. Then majority of people, because this is where people fall off, they start getting a little bit better, and then their percentage of their closing goes up, or it just means their money goes up. So what they could do 1 in every 50 conversations, they got done in 1 in every 25 conversations. They get a yes in 1 every 50. Now they get a yes in 1 every 25. So they're in momentum. They start making money, etc. And I say, like, that's like the momentum cycle. You start catching it. I say majority of people fail inside of business because the moment they start getting a little bit better and the money starts going in, the fucking work ethic drops and the numbers drop. So the moment the input comes in, the output starts to drop. It's like your output's high, input starts to come in, the output drops now again. So I say it's crazy, because it's good that you guys identified that, because majority of people, they suck in the beginning and they do everything to get better, right? They read the books, they do the coaching, they put in the work hours, they knock on a bunch of doors, they make a bunch of cold calls, they start getting better, they start making money, and then they stop the training shit. And then you start, like, they stop the training, the work ethic, the output, whatever it is, the marketing, the sales, because now they can do the same amount of work in less amount of time, or they get the same amount of results in less time.
Right.
And then they stop. And then you hear things like this. It's like, yeah, we used to do like training. And I said, you used to do training, or you used to do sales when you were the business owner, whatever the case is. Or yeah, we did some sales training. You would talk to salespeople. Yeah, I did sales training in the past. I'm like, well, sales training is not something you did. It's something you keep doing. It's not something you did. It's like, that's like saying, like, I used to make money. Well, if training's something you did and it's not something that you do, then I say money's something you did and it's not something that you're currently making. It's like, you can't just stop what got you good, right? And if you're not good at training, then you just bring somebody else in. You know, you don't stop. It's like what got you to chapter 1 gets you to chapter 20 and a little bit more now, not less, right? So I always say the death of a person is the moment they get good. That's the scariest part inside of business. The scariest part of business is momentum. We've never been taught that. We're like, oh, momentum's good. Yeah, but it's scary because majority of people inside of momentum, what happens is they take their foot off the pedal and they stop doing what was in stage 1 that got them inside of momentum, which was like, you know, the output, the training, everything to build their company, to just go back in that cycle and do it one more time, right?
Do you think that happens to a lot of companies or most companies?
I think it happens with a lot of small business owners in today's day and age. A lot of people that don't treat their business like a business and they don't monitor what got them good. Right? Like, you know, they what got them good, they're like, all right, let's change up the formula. But what got you good is what got you good. You double down on that. You know, what got you good. Like, you know, to me, anytime you're winning, it's like a sign that whatever you've done in the past is actually working.
Okay.
You know, so it's like double down what you've done in the past. Because exponential, you know, the word exponential inside of business, which everybody shoots for, right? Exponential means like, you know, if people are watching, it's like you can have like $5,000 weeks and you just keep doing that cycle. I'm like, you identify that you're in momentum, then you double down the work ethic. It's exponential, right? So what happens is like majority of people don't realize when they're in momentum and they make a sale or the sales start to come in and they start to feel good. It's like, instead of saying like, oh shit, this works, let's go celebrate. It's like, motherfucker, it works, double down the work ethic now. Like that's the best time to double down the work ethic is the moment you figure out like it works. You made a sale. It's like, don't go out and celebrate. Go do that again. Because what happens is the only way you get to an exponential part in business is you keep like compounding the momentum cycle. So you keep getting better, getting your percentage higher, doubling down the work ethic, getting better, getting your percentage higher, doubling down the work ethic till one day it goes exponential. You compounded the momentum long enough. You didn't take your foot off the wheel. You didn't go to vacation for 3 weeks as you started getting better, because most people get better and they check out. Right. And I think you have an exponential part in business where it blows up and now it doesn't make sense. Because there's always that point in business where it goes like, oh, it still makes sense. You go from $10,000 a month to $20,000 a month to $30,000 a month. It's still normal. But then you go from like $30,000 a month to $3 million a month. And it's completely exponential and it's impossible to catch up with because you compounded the small things for so long, which majority of people can't do. Like yesterday, I was talking about, I was doing a training in Fresno yesterday. I'm like, you know, you guys got to be okay with the free shit. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, the work that you don't get paid for is the work you got to get fucking okay with in the beginning. Most people aren't okay with that. Yeah. So like, and especially when people start making money, then their ego starts to get up. So they're like, I'm not going to do free work. I'm not going to speak on a stage for free. Right? Yeah. Well, I said, well, fuck, if nobody's hiring me, I'm going to speak on these stages for free. So 2017, 2018, 2019, I was busting my ass off on stages, speaking for free, throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars out in travel for me and my team to go out to these events. And then now it's like flashback 6 months ago, a friend asked me, man, how much did you charge for that stage? Oh, I charged $50,000 for 1 hour, man. For 1 hour of speaking? Yeah, it was $50,000. Man, that shit must have been so easy. Oh, it must have been so easy. Yeah, you see an exponential part now inside of my business where I could charge $50,000 for an hour. But 3 years ago, why didn't you come up to me and said, man, you know, you traveled for 3 years down the road for free? Man, that shit must have been so easy traveling for free 3 years down the road and busting your ass off. I said, nobody compliments the free shit inside of the beginning. Yeah. So what happens inside of life, if you're okay with doing the free shit, making the calls when nobody's saying yes, putting out the reels when nobody's responding to them, traveling when nobody's, paying you to freaking travel, I said, one day you'll be heavily paid for the shit that you were never paid for in the past. And it won't make sense to the majority of people. Right. Like, it'll be like $50,000. How the fuck you make $50,000 in 1 hour? Because you're paid for the shit that you were never paid for in the past. But majority of people aren't okay with that. Like, no. I think at every new level of income, you're going to have to be okay with doing shit that you're not paid for when you want to get to the next level, right? If not, you could stay stagnant, right? That's where ego creeps in with a lot of people. They're like, oh, I'm not speaking. Like, I see a lot of my friends are like, yeah, man, I'm a coach. My speaking fee is $20,000. I'm like, yeah, but bro, you don't speak. Nobody's hiring you. Yeah. You could say whatever your fee is, but nobody's hiring you. That's called your ego. Yeah. Nobody's hiring you for $20,000. So maybe what you got to go do is if you want to really get into space, because nobody's hiring you. So you could say your fee is $20,000, but you're not a speaker. You just got a fee attached towards what your title is, but really you're not training and speaking. So maybe you just got to train a bunch of free companies, and then you start building up your momentum till you earn your $20,000 fee, right? So yeah, I mean, you got to get bored at a different level, and you got to get free at a that's another thing. It's like majority of people, when they start building their businesses up, they don't like, it's like this fact of every time you level up your income, you're going to have to get bored again. And it's like some people run away from that because you're flaunted on social media like everything's fun. So people watch people on social media and they're like, oh, these people's lifestyles are the funnest lifestyles in the world. Only if that person completely settled. I know the richest, and you know them too. We talked about the names. Those people will go on to make $100 million and you'll see they're back in routine the next morning. Yeah. They're back to doing the same shit. It may look good on social media, but they're back to being boring. To other people behind the scenes, it would be so boring to them. And I said, yes. Anytime you want to get to the next level inside of life, your current shit is going to have to get boring again. So what I mean by somebody's watching this, because this is important, if you're making $10,000 a month, right? Life starts to get a little bit more fun because you're at $2,000 a month. So now you can go to restaurants, let's just say on the weekends, right? So now it's fun. But if you want to get to $20,000 a month, now you got to get boring to those people that you're going to restaurants for because you got to stop going to restaurants. So you got to work your ass off Friday and Saturday. So you got to get bored again. And it doesn't stop. Then you start making, let's say, $100,000 a month. Now you're with a new crew. That new crew does jets and yachts. So now you can do jets and yachts. It gets exciting. But then you're like, fuck, I want to own my own jet and my own yacht. So then you got to get boring to those people and stop going on their yachts and jets. So I always say it's like, you almost got to be okay with fucking getting bored inside of life. Like, don't run away like from getting bored. It's okay. Boring to other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's an okay thing. People run away from that because they think 24/7 it has to be exciting because that's what's shown online, the highlight reel.
And that's what I've noticed. A lot of people, especially the young people on my staff, like they're really good at it. And I've had conversations with them where they're like, man, I feel like I'm doing the same routine. Like I'm not living my life. Like, and I'm like, you don't understand where you came from 2 years ago, 6 months ago. You're an amazing person, but they don't understand that it's the routine that's getting them the growing and everything like that. Do you
Correct.
think, what do you think it is about them psychologically that's happening? Is it, do you feel that I need to maybe give them a raise, more, more comp, or what is it? Because they're great at what they're doing, but they don't understand. Because I get it. I'm like, you got to keep doing the same shit and keep growing and like you said, doubling down and all that. But what do you think psychologically in their head is they're thinking? Because when they tell me like, I'm bored, I feel like I need more purpose and stuff like that, but they're really good at it. That's kind of where I'm at with my team, where I feel like I need to bring somebody who's a bit more professional to help me because I see the potential in what they have and how huge they can make this company. But when they start in their mind getting like that, is where I'm kind of like, how do I have that conversation with them?
So, I don't think what people think of, I always ask people, I say, listen, do you play business or do you play sales to be the one-hit wonder? And then they'll come back to me and be like, well, what do you mean? And I say, well, yeah, like you're saying to me you're bored, right? And I say, I'll tell you why you're bored, because you don't like the routine shit, right? The majority of us entrepreneurs have all routine. That's why we're successful, right? You don't like doing the routine. So you're starting to get bored. And majority of that routine is what holds on to success for a lifetime, right? Like that's what, because you build character throughout that routine, right? You're trying to hold it on for a lifetime. I said, do you want to be the one-hit wonder where you make one song and because you don't know how to sustain success because you want it so fucking fast, you make that one song, one hit wonder, nobody knows you again because you don't know how to hold on to it. How many artists do we know that, do have one great hit and because they're not a person of success, they don't have a good team, they haven't built the characteristics, they make the money, they spend the money, you never hear of them again, right? I said, I don't want that in fucking business. Majority of people, it's like they don't even know, but they're striving to become a one-hit wonder because they don't want to go through the character building that what it's going to take to hold on success for a lifetime. So they start saying things like, man, I deserve a lot more. Well, no, hold up. It's like if somebody were to watch us, because this is majority of people's mindset and program right now, man, I deserve to be like that guy. Well, I said, well, if you deserved it, you would already have it.
Right.
So what you're really indicating is this. When you say I deserve to be like somebody, what you're indicating is saying, I give up working to be like that person you don't even know. Because when you say I deserve to be like somebody, what you're really saying is I give up working to be like that somebody. When you say like, man, how do I earn to become like the better question is like, how do I earn to become like that individual? You don't want it fast. I'm actually happy that sometimes shit takes a little bit longer because I know for a fact that if it takes a little bit fucking longer, I'm going to hold on to it a lot longer than the majority of people. I know the grit, the grind, the passion, the heart, the consistency, which basically means when me and you lose it all, we could fucking do it again 10 times bigger because we know what it took to build it. Right? So it's like, why would you strive to have it fast when in reality, you should be striving to hold on to it for a lifetime? And it's the internal characteristics that hold on to success for a lifetime, Right. So it's like, everybody's going to get it. It's just majority of people don't know how to hold on to it because some people get it too quick without the character building. It's like everybody makes money. It's just majority of people don't. Like if you and I were to go take $1 million and go on the street and give it with love to somebody that's homeless, gone. The money's going to be gone. Why? They don't have it here. They don't have it here. What it takes to hold on to it, it's going to be gone. So I'm like, that's with a lot of people. They want to make the money fast, but they don't know how to hold the money. So it's going to be gone. It's not whether you can make commissions or not. It's like you give somebody a lot of commissions with bad habits. I was saying this at Driven. I'm like, they're going to be more depressed than before because now they know what it takes to make, or now they know what it is to have money and you lost all that money. Now you're more depressed. So do you really want the money right now? Because you're only going to get it once or twice. And then whatever you believe in is going to say, I'm going to stop giving it to you because you spent it all. So I always say, man, you got to look at what you want to give up inside of life first. Majority of people want a bigger life and they want it a lot faster. They're not willing to kill stuff in their past. It's like if you commit to something, it's like, okay, Dan, I want to make, $50,000 a month, Edwin. Okay, great. What are you willing to kill? What do you mean? Well, in order to commit to something, you're going to have to kill something inside of your life. Meaning like you want to make $50,000, but you're not willing to give up one thing because that one thing is going to fuck up. Even if you start getting close to $50,000 a month and you haven't killed one bad habit, the negative habit will always suffocate the positive habit. So it's like if you want to work out, okay, that's great. That's a positive habit. You want to make more money, great. But dude, if you're still addicted to junk food or, I don't know, you smoke a lot or whatever the case is, then working out, the negative habit's going to suffocate the positive habit. So success is not a fact of like, what do I got to do more of? It's like what you don't do. Right. It's like when people ask this, man, how do you become successful? What did you do? It's like, dude, ask me what I didn't do to become successful. I love that. Ask me all the shit that like if you go ask me, I made a lot of money when I was young and everybody makes a lot of money in sales. They start to make a lot of money, but success is not like, oh, what's the strategy to make money? It's like, what don't you do when you make commissions? Like, you know what I mean? Because to me, when people ask, you drive a nice car. I drove nice cars when I was in Toronto, Canada. I had everything. Lamborghini at 24 and a half. People would come up to me, older people, man, what do you do for a living, right? And dude, all I did at that time, I wasn't even an entrepreneur. I wasn't a business owner. I was actually in sales. I bought that Lamborghini from being an actual salesperson with a salary and a commission. And I would tell people sales. I'm like, oh, I'm in sales. And they would look at me like, they think you're a drug dealer,
right,
you know?
Right.
They're like, bro, this kid's 24. What do you? But in my head, I'm like, wait, it's just sales pays a shit ton of money. And then I realized one day I was driving my car. I'm like, why does everybody think I'm lying when I tell them in order to afford this car? Like, because majority of people can get to this, but they're at clubs on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays when they started making a little bit of money. I didn't go to the club Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when I started making money. I was fucking sitting at home and reading like Zig Ziglar's closing lines, but I was already at $40,000 a month or $30,000 a month. So I said, success is never what you got to do more of. It's sometimes what you don't got to do. It's always just like the mountain, like, the sacrifice.
Right. It's funny that you say that because forever you always hear people, if you find your why, your who, or your how will never, it will answer itself and all that. When I got coached by Wes Watson, he told me something that completely changed my mind. He's like, it's who you need to become in order to be the individual. That completely, I made the most money ever last year based off of that. Like I hired him for 6 months to coach me and everything. And I just lost 60 pounds, by the way, in the last year.
Wow.
Like I just completely changed my life, the way I eat, I started working out, I got obsessed. And I'm like, who do I need to become to be a better boyfriend, to be a better dad, to be a better role model, to be a better leader, to be all that? And it was like, once I turned everything into me, I always feel short on the why. You always see people say, "Oh, I do it for my kids." My kids are my why, but it's bullshit, right?
Yeah, because everybody has the same shit.
Yeah, and as soon as adversity hits, you quit.
Kids, my family.
Yeah, and then people quit, and I found myself in that circle. The good thing about me is that I had great work ethic, so I know how to make money. Unfortunately, it was with labor, you know what I mean? But it got to a point now where I'm like, who do I need to become to be a better example for my team? And that's what completely changed everything in my life, because just last year on that format alone, it completely changed the way I looked at everything, because I had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, who's going to believe you? You know, I started looking at people like you. I started looking at people like Albert, West, Grant Cardone, all these individuals, Andy Elliott, and all these guys are fit, ripped, and everything. And they have every reason to be chilling at everything and eating donuts, whatever they want. But these guys are out there just killing it and crushing it yourself. You say you run every single day. I love in your podcast with Albert that you were saying, look, I love running because there's no excuse for it. There's a sidewalk and there's tennis shoes and you can do it anywhere. I love that. You know what I mean? So
that works for me.
Yeah,
you know?
but the fact is, like, you look amazing, you look fit, you look, you know, you're very G. How is it that I'm meeting up with Daniel G here, and I'm like, no, I deserve I deserve a chair at the table because I put in the work over the years. I present myself, I'm consistent, I do this, I do that, and just the laws of attraction and everything just bring it to me because I change for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess going back to how you were saying about like salespeople and all that, do you feel that anybody could be a salesperson, or it just takes a certain type of individual?
I like that you said that though, Edwin, because like everything's a common denominator of you, meaning it's like you put sales, it's like relationships. It's like if somebody's like, man, I keep attracting prospects, man, you know, they talk to me, they tell me they need to think about it, or they ghost me, they don't pay me, they're always freaking cheap. And I say, dude, who are you behind the scenes? You're probably the same exact fucking person, right? It's like you go back, like I was saying, like you're the same exact person. Maybe you owe some people money. You know what I mean? Like maybe you ask your clients to pay you fast, but maybe you owe a couple bills. You know, maybe you got to pay some people. Maybe you owe some bills. Maybe you owe some people. Maybe you ghost people. Maybe, bro, there's 45 messages left on read and you haven't freaking answered to somebody. Or my prospects are slow. I say, well, maybe you're a slow person inside of life. You know, my people don't work on my team. Maybe they don't see you working. I said, it's all an inward game. It's like, just like relationships and dating. It's like you date who you are. And then you keep wondering why you always date the same fucking person. The same shit happens in every single relationship. It's because you're that individual. It's a common denominator. Every single relationship that you're in is just a reflection of yourself. That's all it is. Like, you know, when people like they get into the same situation, you see the person date the same guy just with a different name.
Right.
Or date the same girl just with a different freaking name. And I'm like, it ain't their problem. It's your fucking problem. You haven't became the next person. Like, you want to date somebody that is fucking 100 miles ahead of you right now. Right? So it's like, okay, you look at the person. Because to me, I don't know if you were like this, but I also heard this line, like, you know, hang around the 5 people and you become the 6 million or some shit. And then I started saying to myself, I'm like, well, nobody's going to want to fucking hang around me. Like, I knew this when I was young. I was 17, right? I'm like, nobody will want to fucking hang around me. I don't even know how to, people are like, well, add value to other people. I'm like, bro, they won't even fucking give me the inch to add value to them. I heard that line since all of them. They're like, add value to people. I'm like, dude, they won't even shake my hand. I look like an idiot. I dress like a fucking idiot. I smell like shit. Like, I had to have a real check-in with myself. I'm like, why don't I just become the person? Like, why don't I just become the person so I just end up in those circles naturally? I'll end up in those circles. Like, you just focus on becoming the person, you'll end up backstage or whatever the case is. So instead of trying to impress all these people, I'm just like, I'm just going to become the best fucking version of myself. I'll just be backstage with these people. It would be impossible. I'll just be backstage. I'll be the top sales trainer. I'll be backstage with everybody because I just became the best version of myself. So I always just say, it's like, you know, I like that you said that, or Wes brought it up. It's like, you know, you always got to focus on becoming rather than acquiring.
Right.
And most people think about acquiring 24/7. Like, man, how do I attract, or how do I get the best prospect? How do I get the best sales rep? Whoa. You're probably not the person that you want to get inside of your business. So even if you get them, they're going to fucking leave and you're going to be confused again. You know, because you're trying to acquire, and acquiring's fuck all without becoming. And you will get it, by the way, because this is life. Sometimes you get a fluke and you get an ace in your deck and they come work for you. And you know they're above your league because you haven't became the person to hold on to that individual. That's why I started off with, why do you want to be a one-hit wonder? Yeah. I ask people that, I'm like, you really want to be my guys try to rush the process, you know? Like, man, I want to make so much money. Okay, good. Anybody can make fucking $50,000 a month. You ain't gonna make it again next month. Yeah. You know, if you don't become the individual, you're not gonna make it back next month. So, anyways, what were you saying with salespeople? I thought you had a question after that, but I just like that you said becoming.
Yeah, I think that's huge, and I think that before I used to just, because that completely changed the way I looked at everything and my success. And people always ask me, like, what is it that you did? And honestly, it's just, to me, I've always self-developed. I've always wanted to be around people. I've always been obsessed. And when I focus on something and I want something, I've just always have honed in onto it. But one thing that completely changed my life was honestly taking care of my health.
Yeah.
taking care of my health and the clarity that I have now and the confidence, no matter how bad things go, I just feel amazing. I feel great. Like everything that you talked about, even what you said about earlier, I did on Friday, I did this video and I talked about, I'm like, there's two types of people that see you on social media, or the people that know you. There's the people who see you from the outside, right? They hear the underdog story. Edwin's an immigrant from El Salvador. He dropped out of high school, used to sell cocaine, used to do cocaine, used to do all this at 25 until one of his friends came in a Bentley. He worked at a junkyard, changed his life. He gave me a Think and Grow Rich book, and it just completely changed the way I looked at everything. And then they'll see me, right? I just bought a Benz. I just moved into a private community, nice watch, beautiful girlfriend, everything. And they're just like, wow, you're so lucky and everything. You know what I mean? And those are the people that don't know you. They just see the outside. And then there's the people that seen you grind. They see you through the bullshit. They seen you give free car washes. They seen you do anything, traveled anywhere, never said no and all of that. And then when they see you gain these things, they're like, yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those are the two different types of people that I tell my people. I'm like, there's the people that matter and the people that understand are the people who know you the closest, because those people, I always tell my people, like when they get something, whatever it might be, I'm like, what's next? Cool, you got it, it's great and all that, what's next? Because that hunger for me, I always have that in my belly, that fire where I always have a little bit of like a scarcity mindset where I'm like, oh shit, what's it gonna be like tomorrow? But it also fires me up. I'm like, opportunity is out there, guys. Whatever we want to put out there, it's up to us. You know what I mean? There's no cap. And that's what I love about sales. And that's kind of what I try to teach my team. It's like, who gives a shit about the materialistic stuff? Yeah, it's great, right? I like it. Everybody likes it. I like the fine dinners and everything. But at the end of the day, I like getting up and not knowing what's out there, what's expected. Obscurity. You know what I mean? So for me, that's kind of one of the things that as I started to grow, because it's easy to control yourself, but to bring it upon other people, that's kind of where in the stage where I'm at right now, where I feel like I need to bring other individuals to help my team, because the way I teach it, I guess my question is, do you think that the way we were taught, the hard knocks, and the way we teach other people, it has to be in different ways of how they handle criticism and all that? Because I'm the type of leader that's like, motherfucker, like, why'd you do this? Get the fuck up. Like this, and stop being a bitch and all that. And some people can't handle that. How is it that your training works when it comes down to building other people and their sales team?
It's both, right? So you hear this message from some people, and it's very interesting, and it confuses people. So you hear one guy online, which is like, yo, just fucking put in the work ethic, knock on the doors, make $100. Then you hear another guy online. I'll give you both, because I grew up inside a sales environment, so I heard both messages my whole life. Right. Then the other guy online's like, dude, you don't got to be a fucking workhorse. You just got to be a sniper, and you got to know who to talk to. You got to find your customer, have the best conversation, and be the most skilled person in the world. And then I think of these messages, like one guy's fucking saying put in the work hours, you know, and then another guy's like, I'm usually the guy that's perceived as a guy like work your fucking ass off like you. Then you have another guy's like being a sniper, right? And then I say, well, listen, here's the deal inside of sales and business, and people can ask themselves this question. How much money do you have to your name? Nothing? Great. You fucking do both. Meaning like, that's who continuously is the best. They work their ass off and they get better at the same time. That's what I was saying. It's like majority of people are trying to pick which one's a better strategy. Do I just become skilled or do I just become a workhorse? Dude, you become both. This is the person that wins inside of life. Like, so to me, my theory has always been, you know, you can't implement skill sets with a lazy ass attitude. So it doesn't matter if we give people the best training to your company, but they don't apply it, it's going to be bullshit, right? So yes, I'm all for making the 100 calls a day. I'm all for it, because I don't see no excuse as to like why you should get better unless in the work ethic, right? So yeah, and why would we lie? That's another thing. It's like some leaders try to lie to make it easier for other people, but then you're almost setting that person up for failure, because you're saying like, oh yeah, you know, like maybe you don't have to do this. You're kind of coddling that person instead of coaching that person, right? So it's like you don't want that. It's like majority of people, I ask people, I'm like, hey, do you want a shoulder to lean on? Do you want encouragement? Because Elon Musk said something cool once. He said, hey, if you're looking for encouragement, I think it was Elon, he said, get the fuck out of business. He said, get out of business. Realistically, like it's the cherry on top. A coach, somebody to support you and all this shit, that's a cherry on top. But realistically, at the fucking end of the day, if you're looking for support and encouragement, business is not the right sport. You know, like it's even with sports, dude, like, yeah, you get encouragement from the fans when you fucking score. You miss, you're going to get fucking shit on. It's like, why the fuck would you even want to build a business off of pittiness and support? Right. No, if you really think of it, like you said you wanted to make $1 million a year. I don't give a shit if my best friend supports me or doesn't support me. This is the reality of it. Yeah. Why? First of all, my best friend cannot stroke me $1 million fucking check. Number one. Number two, I don't give a shit if my 5 friends support me because there's only 5. And you can't become a millionaire with 5 of them. So I'm like, the cold marketplace has 7.5 billion people. I have much better odds, number one. Number two, bro, you don't build a business out of support. You build a business off of solving problems. So it's already a bad strategy from the get-go. I want to build a business where I solve enough problems and I add enough money. That's how I want to become a fucking millionaire inside of sales, not of people feeling bad for me. But majority of people's strategy, if it's weird, they get inside a business and the coach sets them up for like pittiness sales, meaning like, oh, you know, call up your 3 best friends. And why are you setting them up to be weak? Why? You don't want to build a business off people feeling bad and pity for you, and that's why they have to buy from you. Fuck that. Again, that's like the B player conversation. The A player conversation is like, dude, fuck the warm marketplace. Go find a bunch of strangers, solve an actual problem, and then if the warm marketplace is like, yo, Edwin, what do you do, bro? Accept them with open arms and freaking sell them after. Who cares? But I don't bank on my friends supporting my business because, you know, there is an Instagram line where people cycle and it's like, you know, your best friend should support your business. And I just think, I'm like, man, my homies got their own bullshit to deal with. A real leader just says, fuck it. I don't care if my friend gives me $5 or $10. Maybe my friend's fucking broke. They don't need to buy my shit. Because it's the energy at the end of the day of how you're approaching your business. Like, I don't give a fuck if he doesn't pay me $50. I will figure this shit out regardless, you know? Yeah. Like some people bank on that when they start something, they're like, yo, bro, you haven't joined my podcast and you're my homie. It's like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? You want to build a business off support? Yeah. Maybe you don't earn me on your fucking podcast yet. Like maybe it's a lesson because everything, it is what it is. So meaning maybe you got to get another 50 fucking guests and then you're going to earn my spot on the podcast or some shit like this. But majority of people, again, they go back to deservance mindset, right? When they start building a business. So yeah, man, I think that person, stop being annoying to that freaking person. Little do you freaking know, on Friday they hit you back up because everybody wants what they can't have, right? And then they're like, oh, it was a fluke, man. I dropped that person. I said, regardless, I'll be good, Daniel. And it worked out. It wasn't a fluke. It was just that everything is energy. And the moment you don't need somebody, people start needing you inside a business. But it's hard for people to get to that standpoint because when you get inside a business, it's like, I need to make this. I need to make that. I need to acquire this. Right. I need to acquire that, right? Instead of just saying, dude, I'm going to be good because I'm focused on building myself. I'm going to be rich regardless. It's like people don't have that commitment or that confidence inside of their head. That's why they lose inside of sales, right?
Do you think, do you believe, I'm assuming you believe in the law of attraction.
Of course, I think
do you believe affirmations?
And stuff. And then I say like, fuck, how do we do this so much more as adults? So what we do is this vision board thing. And I'm just a huge, like I'm a big dreamer, right? I don't need to put it. I just have these in my head where I just constantly dream 24/7. I never lose my dreams, right? I think people die inside of business. I think the vision board is great. It's not my mentality of approaching it, but I just dream 24/7. I had the images in my head and I'm just fucking dreaming 24/7. I constantly dream. And then I tell people, I'm like, people write out their affirmations or what they're grateful for, like gratitude too as well. I think it's great. I just think I express, number one, if we're talking about gratitude, I express it through my business, meaning like there's two different ways you can express your gratitude for your profession. You could work it, and that's, I think, the highest form. It's like, some people write down what they're grateful for. I say, okay, if you're really grateful for it, double down. You know what I mean? Like just make, like the universe, God, whatever you believe in will recognize that, man. You can write some shit down and be like, man, I'm so grateful to be in this position with Daniel or Edwin. Thank you so much for my mentors. Thank you. And you could write all that shit out. And then the next morning you don't work your ass off when it really shows you're not grateful for it.
Right.
Somebody that is grateful for their business, network marketing, direct sales, real estate sales, working for you, working for me, that person shows their gratitude by waking up the next fucking morning and doubling down their sales. To me, that's the highest form of gratitude. It's like you show you're grateful for your profession by making more sales inside of the profession. If you're grateful for sales, make more freaking sales. Show that you're grateful for it by doubling down. If you're grateful for a mentor, you don't go up to your mentor and say, I'm grateful for you. You go up to your mentor and say, hey, Edwin, by the way, just bought you another $15,000 in commissions this week because I'm so grateful for you. Actions first, words second. Guy goes up to his girlfriend. There's one guy goes up to his, babe, I'm so grateful for you. Love you. Kisses her. Other guy goes up, hey, babe, I just did XYZ because I love you and I'm grateful for you. That guy always wins.
Right.
Because the guy's like, hey, I'm going to show you that I'm grateful for you instead of telling you. So I think a lot of people are in this phase where they're just writing stuff down and they're just like, oh yeah, this is what's going to get me by. But, express your shit through, your work ethic. I think it's out of life. Yeah. Maybe I'm different. I'm a worker. Like I don't ever put my position on a pedestal. Like, pick up the phone, call 100 people every single day for 7 days a week. Even if you don't have a coach, you'll get good. The coach is like the cherry on top. They think they need a coach to become. Everybody's like, I need a coach to become successful. Now you lost in business.
Yeah.
I need this to become successful. You just lost all the power inside of yourself. Because now you need something in order to become successful. So what you're saying is you're not. In order to become successful. So you need something. And if you need a coach, you're going to need something else. And if you need this, you're going to need something else. Rather than saying, I am successful. What? Yeah, dude, you are successful. You're a human being. Like this is crazy for people to like fathom inside of their life. Like, no, you're a human. When I went to, I think I said this on Albert's stage, but I'm like, I want to start flying private 2025, right? Always. I want to buy my jet, have my jet, and just fly fucking private. And then you tell friends this and they're saying like, yeah, man, it would be nice, bro. And then you start hearing this energy. It's like, yeah, but maybe we're not at that time yet. It might get a little bit expensive. So fuck, why? And they, oh, well, that we can buy an airplane? I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, you're forgetting that you're a human being. So every time you attach yourself to something, you lose that you're just a human. right? Like people lose that they're the most powerful form of creation in the world. They lose that, so they always need something else. You know, they lose a human grip.
Yeah.
The human grip's important because they don't realize like what we're doing right now, created by humans. The mind created this. The mind created the jet. You know, so that's why I always say like when people are like, "Well, what's your why?" And I'm like, "You need more.
Yeah.
Why do you need more?
Yeah.
You need more because think of this: every single line. What's your why? What's your why? What's your why? And then I say one thing. I say, well, listen. What you're indicating is this: if you need a why, if like you really need one, what you're indicating is that you don't fucking like your life and you're not happy for just waking up. So you need something more than just waking up. That's it. Like, think of it. Like, you need something more than your why to wake up when maybe your why is just to live. Like, life is not enough. Like, you need something more than just life. But if we stripped away life, you'd be like, no, I want my life back.
Yeah.
You wouldn't fucking trade in anything. You're not fired up for fucking living and figuring it out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard regardless. Like that's what I'm saying. We're thrown away from this hard line. Like we're trying to navigate around the hard. It just gets. It's not what comes inside of your life. It's how you filter it.
Do you think social media has fucked us up? Like, especially this, as we're like, as information is quicker, easier, and all that. And you see, like you said earlier, you see these people having this amazing. I mean, I've had conversations with Kimberly and be like, man, she'll mention somebody who hit it off or they seem great and everything. She's like, man, they're 25, they're already here, they're there. And I'm like, but to me, I'm like, man, what's behind it? Because
Correct.
you just see what you see, right? Even
Correct.
myself, we only post for the most part the things that
highlights.
we want people
Sure.
to see, right? My nice car, the watch, whatever it might be. We want to inspire people, but overall, without me and you even talking, you could be like, man, that guy's put in the work. You know what I mean? Or have a quick conversation.
Yeah.
Or end of this, be like, oh, fucking Edwin or Daniel, man, they put in the work. Those motherfuckers don't sleep. Like, people know me. I sleep off of 4 hours. I get up at 4 a.m, do my burpees, hit the gym. I go to sleep around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And that's just me. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to sleep, you know? I'm just driven like that. But going back to shit, I even lost.
Yeah,
a little bit of my
when social
conversation.
media distracts people,
Yeah,
right? You were saying
yeah.
do you think social media distracts people? And what I say is, okay, listen, if you're really trying to find somebody, to emulate or look up to in social media, you almost got to see if they're around other people that are, making things happen inside of life.
Okay.
Because I think the biggest edifier is when A players put other people on.
Okay.
This is big. Like, meaning, it's okay. You could fake a Lambo on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. But are you around other powerful people that are saying, hey, this guy's a real fucking deal, right? Like you are the people at the top that are making the most consistently for a while, and we know these people, right, with real success, are those people putting this person on? Meaning, like, are they saying, yeah, I'll do a podcast with you, etc.? Because anybody could fake it, but you can't fake people. Meaning, like, you can't fake real connections and relationships. So I always tell my social media, I'm like, hey, guys, there's a bunch of cool coaches online and gurus, but I'll fucking see you guys tomorrow in a room and I'll train you guys for 8 hours. And you guys, towards the end of this, you say, I'm like, I don't even want you guys to know my story. I don't want you guys to know my story. I don't want you to know how much I made. I don't guys want you to know nothing. I want you to know that I could do this shit, for like 8 hours straight, 10 hours straight. And what I think is this: you could judge somebody's social media based on how quiet they are, number one, meaning like, is it a lot of showing off rather than a lot of giving? It's not sustainable. Like, you could see like, oh man, I got scammed from this one guy. I could have told you miles away. How? Dude, just go look at his social media. He gave you nothing of value. All he did was lifestyle, but there was no value. I would be skeptical. I would be skeptical. I wouldn't fucking invest. I said, you deserve. Dude, you go back to my social media, right? I've never had one refund on my course. I never had one refund on my course. The only times we had refund was for tickets for events. People can't show up to events. I don't have one refund for one course. An individual last year charged back. We were like shocked. We're like, holy fuck, that was like shocking for us, actually, right? We had one charge back. The girl messaged us. She's like, I had to do it without messaging you guys for the refund request because I went broke, blah, blah. Why am I saying this? I'm not saying this to brag. What I'm saying is that you will go on my social media and be like, holy fuck, his sales social media, it's like a university within itself. Like, literally, if you go to my profile, if somebody's watching, you can go learn how to deal with every single objection on my social media for free, right? So I say, you deserve to get scammed. If somebody's just posting a fucking car and they put nothing on their social media, you deserve it. You're an idiot. Learn from your mistakes. Like, so this is why I say, like, be a little bit smarter. What can the person give for free? How much research have you done on the person? We're like, wow, the person can talk, they communicate, they give value on the front end. So maybe they have something of value on the back end, right? So I always say the people that don't know a lot of information, they're only going to have to sell what they know. Makes sense. Like, meaning they can't give away a lot of shit for free because then they won't have nothing to sell. That means they have limited information.
Got it.
So I'm saying, like, you go back to my social media. I tell people, I'm like, never buy my shit. You will still make money inside of sales.
It's funny. On the way here, I had a conversation that I said, everything on social media, Google, YouTube, whatever it might be, all the information's out there how to be rich. Why do you think it is, though, that most people feel that they need a coach? Do you think they just need that affirmation to be like, hey, you're on the right path, you need to get pushed? I mean, because myself, for me, whenever I hire somebody, I just want to collapse time. You know what I mean? The information, the way sales, it's like, yeah, I might be able to learn it out there, but if I could bring you and your team on board, you'll collapse time. You know what I mean? It's going to take me 2-3 years. You'll tell me in 3-4 months. But people who are new to it and everything, the simple stuff, you know what I mean? The prospecting, making 100 calls and all that, everybody talks about it, but people are like, oh, I need to join this person's sales course and everything. What is their reason to getting a coach when they're barely starting off, do you feel, as opposed to the person who, like myself, that understands, like, hey, Daniel's team can take me quicker, faster than what I could try to research and learn, you know what I mean? And that's their profession.
Well, I think this, it's like, okay, so when you're going to look for something, what are you looking for? Are you looking for motivation? You're looking to solve a strategy and a problem? Because when you told me, Daniel, I want to collapse time, what you're looking for is a strategy to collapse your time. Right. But you're not looking like, yeah, you could say, I'm looking for somebody to fire me up, but you can read a fucking book for that, or you can watch a podcast, right? So to me, I think, the reason why people should be hiring a coach is to solve a specific problem inside of their life. That's why you need a coach inside of your life. You need to solve a specific problem inside of your life. So before you hire a coach, you can't just say, man, I suck at business. You got to ask yourself the question, where? Because a coach has to know where to direct you and coach you, right? Like, you can't just go up to a coach and complain, because there's a difference between, like, the coach is going to be a lot more effective when you come to them and you show them the leak in the boat, and then they could start dissecting that a little bit more, right? But if you're just trying to go there and just throw complaints, meaning it'll sound like this. If somebody comes up to me and they're like, man, Dan, my day's just been hard, man. Business has been hard. I'm not going to fucking coach that person. Why? It's a complaint. You become the complaint department. And that's what some coaches do. They become a complaint department. It's like, and then they say, well, like, man, like, all right, let's like help you out on it. Dude, you're just looking for a shoulder to lean on. I think somebody that needs a coach is somebody like this. They come in with a specific problem. They say, Daniel, they walk in my office and they say, because I'm not even saying paying for coaching, right? Not even the idea of like having a coach or a mentor. I'm just I'll say, but where? They'll say, like, what do you mean? Well, dude, what do you mean prospecting hard? When you reach out to people, they're not replying back. When you reach out to people, you don't know how to book a meeting. When you reach out to people, you book a meeting, but they don't show up. Like, there's a lot of components there, but you can't just say it's hard. You have to come up and say, I've done XYZ. I fell into XYZ. What would you do differently? Right?
Right.
So I just think people, should come into coaches with specific problems and knowing that, the coach can only, fix a leak based on your action. Right.
When people come up to your company or you to coach them and all that, is there like a filtering process where you even turn people away, where you're just like, coaching, you're not ready?
Yeah. I think it goes back to language again. Like, I really look at somebody's language, meaning like, are they looking for somebody to support them in complaint department, or are they saying, bro, I've done XYZ. This is where I fucked up. I need help on this because I still want to keep going. They're indicating that they actually want to keep going. Somebody that says it's hard, man, I've been struggling. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to coach that person. I don't want to coach them. I want to coach the person that says, bro, I keep doing it. I keep going. Like even now, Daniel, that I don't have a coach, and if you don't hire me as a coach, I'm gonna keep going. I want to coach that person. They're implying that fucking regardless if they have a coach or not, they're gonna figure it out, right? Because that's life. Like again, sometimes, dude, you don't like. Listen, this is the reality again. I'm gonna go back to the reality of business. There's somebody. So let's just say there's somebody that built up a company without a coach. I think some people need to understand this. There's people that have built $1 million businesses, $1 billion businesses without a coach. And people can't fathom that because everybody's like, well, you need a coach. Dude, you were in network marketing before?
Yeah.
Okay. What were you selling?
Life insurance.
Life insurance, right? There's somebody at the top of any life insurance company, WFG, Primerica, AIL, that never had an upline. They came inside the business, they were the founders of it, and they can never say, I'm going to fucking do this. I'm going to get all the resources that I can try to grab. I'm going to learn a little bit from here. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to do this. That intention of regardless if somebody helps me out or not, I think good energy comes that way and somebody walks up in and says, hey, okay, now I'm ready to support you. You just have to wait a little bit longer. I needed to see if you're ready to be coached or whatever the case is. I think there's a difference with that because some people are waiting until they're going to be coached in order to make $1 million.
Do you think those type of people are very rare though? Those individuals that are on the top, they made it without a coach. I mean, you sound like one of those individuals that just ran.
But I'm
since you
that
were
person.
14,
I don't know
you
what the
what I mean?
percentage is. I don't know what the percentage was. Like in reality, I'm that person. I know some people are gonna be like, no, but you need one. Okay, but that's a big word because that then you're saying 100 out of 100. And I wasn't that person. I wasn't that person, man. Like honestly, like when we say a coach, what does that mean? Like somebody that picks up the phone and you call every single day? I didn't have that person. There was enough out there, bro. There was enough books. I just fucking wanted to win. There was enough books. Like if somebody's like, I needed a coach for sales, I'm like, well, okay, man. I just had a book with Brian Tracy or Tom Hopkins. He sold real estate, or Zig Ziglar. I would read that book, and the next day I would go out there and I just go fucking knock on doors and figure it out and use. Oh, that line didn't work. Oh, I like this guy's line. I'm going to use this guy's line for prospecting. This guy's line for closing. I became this superhero of sales, and I paid these people $10 for books. It's like a hack, you know?
Yeah. Do you have coaches now?
I have people inside of my life, yeah, that are friends that, you know, I give them value and they give me value. They're friends inside of my life. You can call them coach, friends, mentors, advisors, you know. I have people where I'll give them a fucking call and I'll say, hey, this is what I need to solve. Who do you know, right, that can do it? Or did you do it yourself? I think you did this yourself. But if you haven't, who can go help me out with this? If I can't give them some shit, it's just the point that the way coaching and branding is marketing sleeping. Like, you know what I mean? That's the way I show that I want to win. Like, nobody's talking about this shit. Like, the people that have the greatest coaches in the world, they're fucking working, jogging at nighttime. Even if you have a boxing coach, bro, your boxing coach
have to do the hard work. And people come up to me and they're like, hey, thank you for the 30 days, man. I got it. And I'm like, what the fuck did you get? Because the first 3 things that I told you to go do, you couldn't even be disciplined in it. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I had this conversation with Wes the other day, and he's like, don't teach people how to make money. Teach them how to be disciplined. If you teach them how to be disciplined, they'll win in life. But if you try to teach them how to make money, you're going to disappoint them because they're never going to hit that mark. You know what I mean? And that shit hit me, and I was like, oh, shit, I get it. Because discipline overall, you know what I mean, creates habits. Habits create results, you know, and all that. So, I just want to thank you, Daniel. I know you got to go and everything, and I appreciate it. And I just wanted to, where could people find you and all that, and your courses and all that, and social media?
So just hit Daniel G online. Like, you go to Instagram, Daniel G, and then everything's usually linked in a bio, you know, goes to a couple other links. I have a university. We have an event coming up in Miami in March. Daniel G online on social media. I appreciate you having me. This was fun.
Yeah, this was
I know you and I can talk for hours, but that's just what it is, you know?
Yeah, definitely. There is one more thing, though. I wanted to, because Kim, she's for me, she's my greatest salesperson that I have, and I kind of wanted her to do a little like scenario that we get at our gym rejection. If that's okay with you, and kind of see, because
let's do it.
I want her to start, taking on your courses and all that. But I was like, I'm gonna put you on the spot and see with everything. So can you hear her, or do you want her to sit here or anything like that?
Kim, just say it from there. You're good.
Yeah,
Tell
you're
me.
good. Okay,
I'll
go
repeat
ahead.
it for them.
Go ahead.
I'll make it easy.
Go
This
ahead.
is fun mode for me.
So
Okay.
subscription, membership, go. Let's go.
Sitting down after a membership, you just finished a class. Daniel, how'd you like the class?
Yeah, it was good. Thank you so much. Wow, I never knew I was, gonna go through that. I didn't realize how weak I was.
Yeah, I think it's a little intimidating in the beginning, but the more consistent you are with it, the better you'll get at it, like with everything else in life. So how'd you hear about us? How'd you find us?
Well, my friend John, I think he showed me you guys on social media. He came to a class I think a month ago.
John,
Then he moved out, so now he's living in Fresno. But yeah, so that I came in. I'm just wow, I'm like, I want to try Muay Thai,
Yeah. What about
kickboxing?
What about what he showed you caught your attention?
I guess it was just more of like the environment. Like I seen guys training, and I always just felt like I was gonna be good at boxing and kickboxing. So I'm like, well, let me try this out.
All right, and this is your first time trying it out?
Yeah, it was my first time.
Did you feel amazing?
Yeah, it was fun. It was hard, man. The guy kicked my ass, but it was hard.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad that you liked it. Other than wanting to feel amazing, always wanting to do it, what else about kickboxing interested you?
It's just, the athletics, I felt like I've been losing it. I've been in sports my whole life, and then I started working, and I felt like I lost some of my athletics, so I felt like this was going to be a good way to, start cutting some weight, start losing some weight, and, I felt like I lost 1,000 calories in that session, so yeah, I'm probably going to do this just, to lose weight, a lot of it, not just to be the best boxer,
Right, okay, so you want to be good at boxing, you want to lose some weight. Why do you want to lose weight?
I just don't feel good. Honestly, the real question is this: I just don't feel good. I made money, and then it's like you just start to realize when you make money, it's like if you don't have your health. Yeah.
Health as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been wanting to lose weight?
Probably for about a year now.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's been holding you back this whole year?
Just I don't know. I guess I don't. I just every time I wanted to kind of work out, I just had an excuse not to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about our gym is that we can help you push beyond those excuses. In every class, the trainer is going to be present to help guide you throughout the whole thing. I think that's going to be the hardest part for you to get over.
Of course.
So we'll hold your hand throughout that whole process, of course, and help you get started throughout the year.
Okay.
Based off of what you've been telling me, I just think the Supreme package is probably going to be what's best for you. That one comes with nutritional coaching. That's going to help guide you along the whole thing, get you started, because 90% of it is going to come from your eating.
Right.
Other than that, you get access to the gym 7 days out of the week. You can start off with 3 times out of the week to help build consistency. And then after that, I would push for at least 5 days.
And how much is it?
It's only $299 a month.
Okay.
With all of that included that I've mentioned.
Got it. And I have to pay it every single month?
Yeah, $299 every month.
And I can cancel whenever?
So it's a 12-month commitment, but that's just only going to help you hold yourself accountable to your goals. So you've been pushing it back for a year. Now you're going to be locked in for a year to help us get you there.
Okay, so if I want to cancel, let's say, like 4 months in, what would happen?
Well, I wouldn't even go into it thinking about canceling, just because your goals are a lot stronger than that. So I think by 4 months in, one, you're already going to have a consistent routine. And after that,
Okay. Okay. And then let's keep going.
Okay.
You're good, by the way.
You're going.
Freaking good.
She trains every day, by the way.
Okay, so now so now it's at $299. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, let me go ahead and get your ID and your credit card, and we'll get you started.
Okay, cool. You give me today?
Yes, we'll get you started today.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Just give me like I don't want to make a decision this fast because I don't know if I'm ready to commit for $299 a month.
Okay.
But just give me some time. I'm not the type of guy that makes decisions this fast. You know what I mean? I'm like I'm like, you know, I like to make decisions slow. I'm very analytical inside of my business, so I just want to make sure that I'm actually going to show up, because I don't want to spend $299
right,
and then I'm not going to show up and use the membership, right?
Okay. Yeah, no, I hear you, Daniel, but you showed up today.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part for you is always getting started, and I think the more you push it off, it's just going to turn into another year of you not coming in.
Yeah.
So I just want to help you push past what the number one reason was for you not coming in the first place. So that was motivation, consistency. Did you feel like in the class today our trainers helped motivate you? You feel great right now? I think right now is probably the best time for you to get started, just because I know once you walk in, the adrenaline comes down, you're not going to come back in here, and you're just going to push it back. It's just going to be another year of excuses, another year of yourself not even feeling good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I just think like, I don't know, I just think I need to take some time to ponder on it.
Okay. What is it? Is it scheduling? Is it the commitment that's pushing you away?
Yeah, it's just I guess I didn't want to, like, you know, make a decision this fast. I just wanted to try the free session.
Okay. Cool. Well, what about like making a decision so fast scares you?
You're good. You know, I think like I don't know if I'm gonna stay committed for 3 months to this.
Okay. For 3 months you don't think you're gonna be committed?
Yeah.
But we already talked about this.
Yeah, I just don't know. I'm not that type of guy that was gonna stay committed for like 4 months.
Okay.
So the only thing I'm gonna do now, because this is where sales reps because you're good, so you can keep going with me.
Yeah.
Can we are we allowed to pause?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's only something, because like, you know your whole product inside out because you're a beast with it. There's only differences because this is called the loop. Yeah. So the loop is where salespeople start getting caught up in. The what's, the why's, like, okay, but what do you need to think about? We're already sitting down here and you're trying to like push them forward. So the moment I started to say like, hey, I just need to think about it, right? You already went back right into selling. With me, I was at Driven, I taught something that was, you know, it made somebody think differently. So I said, okay, regardless, whatever the prospect says, you give them power. Because the highest form of control is to make a prospect feel like they're in control. But we usually, inside of sales, we try to push, instead of just like pushing them to give them power. So it's like, you tell me, let's play with me because I want to do it now. Tell me you need to think about it.
Okay, so I'm just going to think about it for a little bit.
150%. And I think that's important. Like, I wanted you to come inside today and just make sure, you know, you got the training. You know, you've seen how obviously valuable it was for you. You know, you said you lost 1,000 pounds. And that's the best part, because when you decide to commit to something like this, I don't want you to come in half-ass. Okay. Like, I don't want you to come in here and then be on the fence, and then you don't walk up in here and then you're like, well, you know, this thing didn't work out, and then we get a bad name, we get a bad referral. Everybody that joins this, I want to make sure they're 150% committed. So it's good even if somebody ponders on it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That way, when you know, you call me back up and you're like, Daniel, I'm ready to start this shit, right? Mm-hmm. Stop. If somebody's watching this right now, all I'm saying is I'm not making the client feel claustrophobic, because all I'm going to try to get back down to is into a conversation in 5 seconds. I'm going to keep going into it, but I'm pausing. I'm telling people that are watching. I said, hey, dude, think about it. Majority of sales reps can't do that because they're so focused on the commission, so they start getting nervous right away. So they start saying like, well, what do you need to think about? The moment that starts to happen, the client's like, oh, this person needs to sell me. So they start feeling like close off. Okay. Where I'm trying to make the client feel like, you can exit. Because if I make you feel like you can exit the conversation, I'm going to start getting a little bit of the truth.
Yeah.
And the only thing that salesperson needs is a little bit more of the truth. That's all I need to start talking a little bit more. I'm just trying to get into a process of engagement. So watch, I'm kicking you out, because inevitably if I kick somebody out of the conversation, if I say, hey, by the way, you know what? Ponder on it and think about it, because I want you to come inside of the, I'm really embodying that right now. Like you could see I'm embodying my script saying like, yes, think about it. I'm not just saying like, yeah, I'm really owning it where the person's like, oh, I can walk out of this door. I can leave. I want my client to feel like they can leave the door. Because if I can make them feel like I can leave, I can pull them back in. So when they're leaving, I can say, hey, by the way, in the process of you thinking about it, whether it takes you a couple of weeks or a month to think about something like this, I just want to make sure that you know exactly what we got going on. You have the right information at your fingertips, so you have something important to think about, right? Because if I just give you a package of all our memberships or anything like that, you're probably not going to read it all, right? You're probably just going to go home, throw this package away, and get on with your day. So what can I send you over in a quick little text message about, what we got going on here at the gym, so you could take it home, you can ponder on it, and you can think about it, and you can look at it. Did you want to see more about like maybe some of the results that people have been getting inside of our boxing gym, the weight they're losing, maybe more of like, the pricing, maybe the pricing was it, you want to see the price to make sure the pricing fits your budget and what you're exactly getting inside with the pricing, or, and then you can ask them another question, right? Then you could start seeing the truth, because you could start seeing why people don't join a business. You just list out those fears as they're exiting. And then they could be like, yeah, it was a little bit more about, just, the price. Maybe put the price, send me over a little bit more about the price. Objection moved. Mm-hmm. And now I'm into a whole nother conversation, because now I can get back into it and say, oh, that's my fault. I didn't show you. I'm back into it. So every time I'm trying to get the truth from somebody, I need to make them feel like they can exit.
Right.
So I always teach salespeople, give your client the ability to feel like they could walk out of a conversation. Because if they feel like they could walk out of a conversation, you'll bring them back in.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you the truth. That's the whole point of sales. Like some people always try to push and press to get a sale. And then I say, why would you push and press when the prospect's already getting inside of this corner and they feel more pressure, more pressure, more pressure? When we start a conversation with a prospect, all you're trying to do is get that prospect to talk to you. Mm-hmm. So when you talk to a prospect in the first 5 seconds, I would tell a prospect, say, hey, listen, I just want to sit down with you for 5 minutes after the workout. I just want to better understand your goals and what you want more of, and kind of why you came inside the gym. And if I feel like we could support you with one of our services or packages, I'll definitely show you what we have to offer that way. And it's what I do in the opening, because the opening dictates the closing. So I would say that way, whenever you're ready to start with us and partner up with us or collaborate with us inside of the gym and start coming inside the gym, you know exactly what we got going on here, whether it's in the summer you want to join us or next year you want to join us, you understand all our packages and what we got going on. Why would I do that? Because now I'm telling a client, hey, by the way, we're going to have an open discussion and I'm not going to try to hard close you. So now you don't feel claustrophobic. So now your shoulders, because everybody enters a conversation like this, is dropped. Mm-hmm. And that's all I need to close somebody is get them talking a little bit more about their pains and their problems so I could solve it. But majority of salespeople can't do that because but I need to ask them for commitment early on or whatever. No, just always make them feel relaxed, like they can exit it. That's always been my strategy. Majority of sales reps, you're great at it, but people watching this, they're very bad at getting back inside of a conversation. Yeah. So they struggle. And I say, if you're not as tactical as I was right there, you could say the most dumbest shit to get back inside of a conversation. Like, Daniel, I just don't have the money or I need to think about it. Nice. So what are your plans this weekend? Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, oh, I'm just, headed out to the cottage with my family, or we're headed out, to Fresno with my family. And I'm already back inside of it. Majority of sales rep can't do that because they're so attached to the sale that now they lost all the rapport inside of the sale. Yeah. Want to know why? Because sales training, and you got me on my sales topic now, sales training was taught when we were young, like build rapport, ask questions, present, deal with objections, close the deal. But I never heard a sales trainer ever tell me this. Keep rapport throughout the whole sale. Meaning get them talking throughout the whole sale. Because rapport is not a one-time thing. What do you do? Why do you do it? What do you want more of? Nice. Why have you... that's rapport. And then we lose rapport towards an objection. I'm like, you actually need to still be in rapport during an objection. So what rapport actually means, when they give you an objection, stay in conversation because that's rapport. Rapport is a process of engagement. You talk, they talk. You talk, they talk. Why when we get into closing and we get into objection handling, it's almost like we fall out of rapport. Rapport is like a bouncing of a conversation. So I even tell my salespeople, I'm like, all you're trying to do it is an objection to try to get back inside of a conversation. Hold the rapport. Don't lose the rapport. If anything, when people start paying you, you got to be in more rapport towards them than you were in the beginning. But we were just taught like, yo, if they talk about dogs, you talk about dogs, that you have a dog. No, the moment they give you an objection, it's almost like play a game with yourself, like stay in rapport and be like, nice, what do you guys got going on for the weekend? That person always wins inside of sales. Because you show the prospect, dude, if you don't buy from me, I'm still gonna fucking make money. And something with the prospects like, why doesn't this person need me right now? What, they got more people walking inside this gym? Ooh, this gym might be good because he doesn't care if I sign up. That means more people are probably gonna fucking sign up. The moment I don't need you, now you start needing me. Like if I tell a prospect, hey, by the way, yeah, no problem. Take some time to think about it. So where are you guys going out this weekend to hang out? You guys got restaurant plans? You guys going out with the family? This guy's starting to think in his fucking head being like, so if I don't buy from this fucking guy, he's still gonna be okay? He's still gonna make money? Oh shit, they might have customers that walk inside of the business. They might make a lot of money without me. Fuck, I want this person, now I need this person.
Yeah.
That I was trying to explain that concept a little bit deeper for people. So it's like, everybody wants what they can't have. I kick people out always. And that thing that I was talking with Edwin when I was saying regardless, that's the word, it's regardless. The word is, if you don't buy from me, regardless, you walk out of this door, we're about to fucking make money. And you can never say that to the prospect because it's on a subconscious level. So the customer just got to feel it where they're just like, fuck, they really don't need me almost, right? It's hard for salespeople because salespeople are always attached towards the commission and not the connection.
Right.
And the moment the sale gets closer and closer to the commission, they start thinking about it more and more and more, and they lose the connection. And that's the only thing that got them closer towards the commission was the connection. It's interesting. If you look at sales, it's like, you know, if we look at rapport on a heartbeat thermometer, it's just like, this is what rapport's supposed to be. Boop, 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 talk, 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 talk. But then really it's almost like you do this in the beginning, and if you look at it on a monitor, it starts to get like this towards the end of the close. It starts to get weird, and you stop talking to the person, and you just start talking about your pricing, your closing, your packaging. Not even for the next 12 months, but they've done it within 90 days. Would you like my help to show you how we've been able to do that? Yes. First of all, I always repeat back to what my client said they were, because my client now needs to be hooked that they're don't feel like a sales rep listens to them. And I just showed my prospect that, hey, I've been listening to you the whole time. You told me you want XYZ. Would you like me to show you how we've been able to help people? Always stay in rapport. You see, even when I was presenting, I'm like, I'm in rapport with you. You know, I'm in rapport with the prospect saying, would you like me to show you how we've been able to help people like yourself? Oh shit, you've helped people like me, you know? Oh, you've been listening to me, the sexiest thing inside of the world, right? You've been listening to me. Even when I'm presenting, some people present for 5 minutes. So then they're like, hey, so these are our packages, and this is what we get inside of our packages, da, 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 da. And then I usually start to say, like, if you've been talking for more than 2 minutes, you got to shut up almost. You know, like more than like a minute to 2 minutes. And you don't got to check in, because the check-in's like, what do you think? Right? Like, does that make sense? You got to stop and pause and be like, hey, listen, I talked about, you know, X, Y, Z. Tell me a little bit, like, what are you feeling right now? I want to better understand, like, where are you at right now? We don't know how to ask a hard question, so it's harder for us to close towards the end. You ask harder questions at the beginning, closing is easier in the end. But like sometimes we like stray away from it because we're like, we just need to ask them yes, 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 yes. So we're going to get a yes towards the end, which is probably not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But your team women or guys? Or it's women?
Yeah.
Okay, watch. You're going to turn your women closers lethal when you just taught them what I taught you. And it was like, because men are open always to women, right? And they will talk. But the problem is like when the girl tries to get too serious, and it's like, okay, but let's try to do it now. And she tries to become too much a closer. Remember that men innate will talk to women. So when you give that guy the power that he feels like he can leave, you'll get back the truth. So you always just got to tell your ladies, it's about getting the truth from these people. Meaning like, let them feel like they can walk out, but on their way out, come back in for one more shot, right? So I used to call this like, because fortune's not in follow-up. You know that. You want to close people. Fortune's in the amount of attempts that you try to close somebody on the first call. That's where the fortune is. After fortune's in the follow-up. But it's almost like, ladies, how many times did we try to get the truth on one phone call? to what's really happening here. Like, is it about the price? Was it a pricing issue? Do they not feel like they're going to use it? Do they not feel confident enough? Like, what's the real issue? Because it's never going to be about money. It's never going to be about money. It's a deeper issue than money. So we got to keep going down from it. It's never going to be like they need to think about it, because it's never about thinking. There's always something to think about. So I always say the first thing is always make sure that they can always, you teach them the method of, how would I explain this? In medical sales, okay, so I was in door-to-door sales, and I used to tell my guys, bruised shins. And they would be like, what do you mean? Because I was managing a team at like 15. I had like these 15 sales reps with me. I'd be like, guys, this is the goal to this game. You don't fucking stop until they slam the door inside of your fucking foot. Right? They slam the door. I'm like, it was my methodology, because I'm like, everybody get your shin pads, like your soccer shin pads, because you know you're doing a good job. When they're like, get the fuck out of my house, because at least you did your job and you attempted 3 to 4 times, so you should have bruised shins. It was my methodology. I used to tell people that, right? I'm like, bruised shins, guys, get your shin pads, because in reality, you should always be leaving the house, turning your foot back inside the door and being like, sorry, one more second, I just forgot something. That means that you're working, you know? And I think that sometimes our people don't realize that your rate of closing is how much you try attempting to close on one phone call. That's how you get better as a closer. Like, embody it. Like, I'm like, just before I head out of here. So I'm embodying, meaning like I'm really acting the script where it's like, oh, he's going to fucking leave if I just tell him the truth. Yeah, but if you give me something of substance, I'm sticking my ass back in here, right? So I just think there's a difference between saying it and saying it. And when I say that, people are like, what? I said, no, are you saying it just to say you fucking said it, or are you saying it to say it? Right? Like, it's like some people just say the script just to say, oh, I said the script and it doesn't work out. No, you said the script just to say you said the script, but you didn't really say the script, acting the script, embodying the script, becoming the script, etc. You're just saying the script. You're not becoming it. Like, when I'm in it, I'm in it. I'm in role play mode, right? You're in role play mode. Some people are just saying it. Like, what do you do? Why do you do it? I'm like, you're just saying it to say you fucking did it. It's like when somebody says, you know, I did the branding and the branding's not working out. No, you just posted it to say you fucking posted, but you didn't post like, you know, with like effort, enthusiasm, passion. So the same thing inside of sales, make sure the rep is always like embodying the script too, not just the words inside of the script, but they become the script. Like it's like a personality behind the script. And that's hard to train salespeople on. It takes them a while, but you almost want to teach them like it's acting lines. When you could teach a sales rep like it's acting lines, not to know word for word, but to understand the concepts. Sales reps try to understand word for word too much. I understand my methodologies better understand than word for word. That's why I could take the water bottle and sell the water bottle. I could sell your gym memberships just as good as the reps, or if not better, because I understand how people buy. But most salespeople try to understand how to sell. And that becomes so fucking hard because they're like, I'm like, dude, you don't know people. People don't want to buy from you. They want to feel like they can always leave a conversation. They want to get everything, buy nothing. That's why I was training at Driven. I'm like, you guys just don't know how people make a decision. I know how people make a decision, so sales becomes easy. When we don't teach people, a decision-making process, which is great training too as well, how do customers make a decision? Sales is going to be so hard because you don't understand how people make decisions, how they buy. You don't even understand how you make decisions. But if you understood how you make decisions, sales would be so easy. Like if you sat down one day and be like, why'd I buy that chocolate bar? Why'd I buy that car? Why'd I do this? Dude, you would be a beast at sales because you sell to others as you would like to be sold. Right? Like that's sales. Like, you sell to, like if you don't even want to understand a script, just understand the way you buy. And then if you can understand the way you buy, you will become fucking great at sales. Like every single buying situation, just take notes on how you bought shit. Because we're sold shit 24/7. Like I tell my salespeople this, I'm like, you want to be fucking great? Sit down and understand how you bought a product.
I love this shit. I feel like we could kidnap them, take them, and be like, train our people, man. Like, God, you're phenomenal, man. I appreciate everything. And honestly, like, so what do you think? Kim, with a little bit of tweaking here and there, mentor, she should be a beast, right?
Yeah, you guys are gonna fucking kill.
Yeah.
No, Kim, I think you're already good. I think it's just like you show people the relentlessness to get a sale done with also the ability. If it's women, are you guys gonna hire guys? Good, blah blah blah. But yeah, you get sold 24/7. And I said, now you got to understand and believe that people love buying shit. If that's not your first thought inside of sales, it's always going to be a struggle selling. Like if you don't understand that people are programmed consumers, we think people are programmed investors. Get the fuck out. People are programmed to spend money. If you don't understand this, you're going to be scared when it comes time to them to spend money. You're going to be like, well, no, people don't like consuming. Go look at your bank account. You have more fucking withdrawals than you have deposits. You're a consumer yourself. People can say whatever the fuck they want, but majority of people, if you go look at a salesperson's bank account, dude, they have more withdrawals than they have deals. All day. You know what I mean? Like, they're fucking consumers themselves. Like, you go, because then you got to think like, wait, if I'm giving the excuse that people don't buy shit, and that's my excuse that they didn't want to buy today, yeah, really? Go look at your bank account. You have 17 withdrawals. Uber Eats, pizza, go to the store, buy this, do this, get a lift here, get a car there, take an airplane here. 17 withdrawals, one deal. You're a consumer yourself. You can't sell yourself out of that people aren't consumers. So I always say the first thing inside of sales is you got to understand people buy shit. And if they don't buy from you, they'll probably end up buying something after the phone call. Because I have to come inside of a conversation being like, this is a spender. This is a buyer. They'll buy something. If we don't convince ourselves after that, we'll give up on the first attempt. They close the phone call, they go on Amazon, and they go buy some shit from somebody else. So I always tell people, guys, the opening line, everybody's prospectable, everybody's recruitable, and everybody's closable, and everybody loves spending money. And if they don't do it with you, they're going to do it with somebody else. And don't convince yourself otherwise. It's a mindset before people go inside of a sale that fucks them up. You know, like people are trained consumers, right? So it's like, it's almost like you think of it after being like, dude, if you don't close them, you're fucking them. Because they're going to buy some other shit. Yeah. Like you're doing a disservice if you don't close them. So that's what gives like the salespeople the winning mentality. Because they're like, dude, I put this person in a bad position if I don't close him. They're going to go buy some garbage. So I tell my salespeople, guys, if you don't close him, you're doing such a bad service for these people. You should go home and cry. You should go home and cry for them. That's how much you got to want to close somebody. You got to say, like, if I don't close him, you're okay with somebody else selling them some bullshit. That means you don't believe in your shit. If you don't try to close them 4 or 5 times, it means that you believe in other people's products and not your own product.
I love it.
Because you know they're going to buy something. Yeah. You know they're going to buy something. Like, you're letting them go into that scary world. It's like when somebody says they need to think about it, guys, you should get so scared because that world's not going to show them what your service is doing. Like, let's say Muay Thai or packages or gym packages, fitness, coaching, etc. Like, that world's not selling that. So they're going to spend the money regardless, and it's probably not going to be on a good service. It's probably going to be on some bullshit. Like, they don't buy from you, they're going to go to the club and go buy some Grey Goose. So, like, what you're really in competition for, because we always think our competition is our competition. People are like, what? I go train a solar company tomorrow. I'll be like, your competition is not solar companies. That's what they think it is. I'm like, dude, your competition is a fucking person that installs pools or verandas or decks or something else because they're a consumer. Meaning your competition is not the other solar company. Your competition is when they don't buy from you, where else are going to go spend the money? It's not directly another competitor. It's the world is the competition. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're in competition with everything else. That's why I had this video once saying, like, online, it's, you know, sometimes people are like, well, Dan, you sell the dream. You make people feel like they could believe it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, fuck, my competition is people selling the nightmare. You know, I'm like, well, people sell fucking nightmares inside of life, you know?
Right.
Like if I'm the guy that sells the dream, the good lifestyle, because I say all my videos are like, you can make $1 million inside of sales. And I get so much, hey, blah, 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 bro, yeah, but just for you, blah, blah, you're selling the dream. That's a bunch of bullshit. And I'm like, well, fuck, man. My competitors are like the fucking world, because the world sells you, the system sells you a fucking life that's not even that fun. You know, at least I'm selling something that's fun, that if you make it, it's going to be fun. But if you make the nightmare that they sold you, or if you make the lifestyle that they showed you you should follow, it's not even fun. You retire, you don't even have enough fucking money. You get a job, you don't even like it. You get a job, you don't even make enough money. Like, that's a fucking nightmare. So my competition of selling the dream, I always say, like, yes, I'm the dream dealer, because, like, they sell people bullshit, you know? So, and then it just comes down to the point where it's like, you know, you need to get brainwashed. You got to pick where you're going to be brainwashed. Yeah. Because that to some people, that's like a negative connotation. Like, you have, if you're going to come inside of the company, you have to drink the company's Kool-Aid. And you have to start that mindset with the people that come inside right away, being like, guys, you got to pick where you're going to be brainwashed, because you can only pick one. You can't be brainwashed by 2 people at the same time. So you got to figure out where you're going to be brainwashed. Is the brainwashed good, meaning this is what you want after you're done being brainwashed? Because you're going to be brainwashed regardless. It's not a bad thing. It's like, where the fuck do you want to be brainwashed? Like, what Kool-Aid do you want to drink? You're going to drink Kool-Aid. You know, I tell people, it's like, you're going to drink the fucking juice. Oh, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah, you're going to fucking drink it regardless. Like, you either drink the good Kool-Aid or the bad Kool-Aid, right? Like, our Kool-Aid, it's probably better fucking Kool-Aid than whatever else is somebody selling. You're going to drink it. It's just what Kool-Aid you decide to drink. Right. Do you decide to drink the fucking Kool-Aid that when you drink their Kool-Aid, you don't make money? You know, it's just shitty fucking lifestyle. You don't like the job that that's somebody else's Kool-Aid that you drank. Or you can come inside of our business or inside of our sales job, you drink enough fucking Kool-Aid, and you're like, wow, you make more money. The Kool-Aid tastes better. The people are driving nicer cars. Why wouldn't I want to chug that Kool-Aid? I always said. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to fucking chug this Kool-Aid? People are like scared to say, like, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Right. I tell my guys, I'm like, guys, drink more fucking Kool-Aid. Believe in me a lot more. I'm like, drink it. I'm like, you should go home, buy packs of this fucking Kool-Aid and shower in the Kool-Aid. Because it's better. Right. You're going to drink it. It's like where you go out into, like, you could see the people online where they're like, they don't even tell you, but they're like, oh, this person's just, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid and this coach is telling them this. I'm like, just pick what Kool-Aid you want to fucking drink, dude. Like, just pick it regardless. Yeah. And you're not wrong or right. You just got to pick your Kool-Aid. Right. You're going to be brainwashed. So it's just like, I'm not right. Like, you don't have to live our lifestyle. You don't have to think like we fucking think. Go pick your other fucking Kool-Aid. This Kool-Aid, to me, it tastes better, right? So I'm like, yes, I drink the fucking Kool-Aid, you know? And you always got to drink the Kool-Aid to get to the next level. Yeah. You know, that's why I say in life, you always got to be in these 3 stages. You either, like when I said sell the dream, you either got to, first you got to buy the dream and you continuously got to buy from somebody else. So it's like, I got to buy that dream. I got to buy that dream. So it's like, you got to buy the course or the program, the coaching for somebody else. You continuously got to buy the dream. Then you can live the dream and then you sell the dream. That's life. You got to buy it always first that it's possible. Then you can live it. Then you have to sell it to other people. And if you're scared about selling it to other people, right? You still don't believe inside of the dream. You're scared to sell it to other people. Somebody else will sell them the nightmare, I say. So it's like you're in competition with other fucks. You know? Yeah. Side of life. Anyways, this is fucking good, guys.
Daniel, I have 3 quick questions, but I'm afraid to ask them because you might run with them.
No, we're good.
So, one, do you think we should hire men also in the selling game?
Yeah, I think both.
Or is there a preference? Do some genders make better than others?
I like both. I found amazing saleswomen. I train a lot more salespeople than I do saleswomen than I do sales guys.
Okay.
Just happened like that. Like, like a lot of my following is a lot of saleswomen. I teach them how to become bees. Listen, I just think women, it's not that the men or the women are more powerful. I just think women, when they can tap in to I'm good regardless, it's very interesting because I tell women, I say, if you sit down with me for a month, your whole life will change, not from sales. You'll start making money. And when you start making money, you'll start to realize that people around you, the guys that you needed, you don't fucking need them anymore. And it's not just the people, because sometimes, a woman's subconscious brain is safety and security, right? That's how a woman's born. It's like, hey, I'm born into safety and security, right? Then when you have that yourself, and you no longer care about a man for money, you're going to start looking at a man for different qualities that are more important. Because any guy can bring money in, but it's like, how does a guy make his money? Is it ethical? Is it legal? Is he a good person behind the scenes? I said, I want ladies to make a lot of this is why I train a lot of ladies inside of sales. I'm like, I want you guys to make a lot of fucking money so you can filter out the bullshit inside of life. So you're good regardless. Because there's a lot of men out there that are like manipulative to people because they got good money. But then you start dating that man, and that man's an asshole behind the scenes. And then you start realizing, well, the money's nothing because the guy's nothing. Right? So I'm like, I want females to be in power. I want have a, as a sales leader being like, Dan, you were never discriminated. Because I wasn't, man. Like I was like probably not as much, but when I was in school and I was, 12 years old, I used to sell weed, right? And then you think of it, you're like, well, fuck, man, like, you were never fit for a job. That wasn't you. But sales didn't discriminate you. It didn't discriminate you. It said, just come in and you can work hard. You can get paid a shit ton of money. So I say that's the beauty about sales, where it's like it only hires off of hunger. It only rewards hunger. So when people are like, well, sales is uneven, right? Well, I say, well, no, it's not. It's the most fair playing ground. Sales is the most fair playing ground more than any other job in the world. Why? Because it doesn't discriminate you based on who you are, how you look, or what your background or what your history was. There's people out there that have miserable lives right now. They have a bad life, and they're not making money. They can't land a job. Maybe they've been incriminated. Maybe people make fun of them. Maybe they're too extroverted. And I say, that's fine, because sales will fucking accept you. It doesn't hire off a resume. It says, we are so even. You can come in here. If you got hunger, you can make a shit ton of money. What more of a job is more fair than that, right? And then people will be like, yeah, but a salary job is a lot more fair. No, you're in the fucking system in the salary job, because what happens in the salary job, it doesn't matter in a fucking salary job that if you flip burgers faster than Sally and you're a lot more skilled than Sally, you get paid the same as fucking Sally. Inside of sales, if I train more than you, I work my ass off harder than you, I stay in the office longer than you, I message more people more than you, sales will pay me more than the person to the right or left of me. That's more fair than any other freaking position inside the world. So I said, number one, it doesn't discriminate. I said, number two, it's the most even playing field in sport. And number three, it's like what you put in is what you get out, right? Where I'm saying it's fair. It's like, it's the only thing where you could play catch up. In other jobs, you can't play catch up. In sales, you could play catch up. Meaning, like I say, when there's a bill to pay, sales allows you the ability to say, I want to do more so I can pay for more. Inside of other jobs, that's very hard to have uncapped, unlimited commissions and potential and freedom. That's why when you were talking about like, dude, you could do whatever. People don't own that inside of sales. You have the ability to make, like, especially people watching this right now that are like uncapped commissions. That should be the motivator, not anything else. That's the motivator. When people are like, dude, what motivates you inside of sales? The ability to make the ability to make unlimited income. I love it. If that doesn't excite you, you should get the fuck out of sales. If the ability to, like, that at the end of the month, you just want to crank out an extra $15,000 in sales because you're allowed to, because your compensation plan allows you for that, where you're just like, you know what? I want to buy a BMW this month. And you get the choice to say that inside of sales, and you could sell another 50 clients this month, and those 50 clients can pay for the freaking BMW. If that doesn't excite you, sales is not freaking right for you. That's why sales is the best profession in the freaking world, I say. Doesn't discriminate, and it gives you the ability to have uncapped and unlimited commissions and income. That's a motivator inside of sales. And every single salesperson is only motivated by that, by the way. Any good salesperson. Yeah. So when people ask me, dude, what's a motivator inside a salesperson? It's the commission structure.
I love it.
Nothing more than that.
My last one.
Yeah.
Culture index. You know, they told us to go through that, and we didn't even hire people because of their culture index didn't balance with what they said would be a great fit for a salespeople. Do you believe in culture index and putting people through it?
Like, seeing where you could put...
yeah, so you know what it is.
We never done it inside of the company.
But you know what they are, right? Like, you fill out a questionnaire, and it kind of tells you...
Correct,
like,
I did that in my old jobs.
What your character is. Do you believe in that or no? I guess what I'm saying.
I never done it with sales. Like, I ask salespeople very basic questions for my salespeople. Yeah. But again, like, I've trained millions of salespeople. So, like, my thermometer for understanding salespeople is at a whole different level.
Okay.
I train it. So it's like, if I ask somebody, hey, bro, do you want to make a shit ton of money? And he's like, well, yeah. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. The heck? Right. You're in the wrong job. They like getting paid what they earn. That is like that's why I was saying sales is the only job where you don't deserve shit. It's the only job you get paid what you freaking earn. And if somebody doesn't like that, then sales is not for them. You could see the mindset of somebody. It's like they like earning shit. They like coming in here and they say, don't fucking pay me a salary. Don't pay me anything, bro. I don't want to make a buck from you. Person's going to make a shit ton of money inside of sales. They like earning it. I go into some of my contracts in consulting. I'm like, you know what, bro? I was about to ask you for $150,000. Let's play. The guy's like, what do you mean? I said, I just want a higher percentage on the increase of sales that we do over the next year. This is the percentage I want. I said, and you're going to pay me this. And I said, it's going to pay me a fucking shit ton more than $250,000 up front that you're going to pay me for the consulting and a little percentage. I said, increase my percentage at the end. I want to earn that percentage. And guess what? If I win, he's paying me out $2.5 million on that contract. Instead of $250,000, he's paying me $2.5 million gladly. He increases the commission gladly. Now, logically, he's going to pay me out more. But the business owner's like, you know what? Fuck it, yeah. Let's do it. So if I know that's what influences a business owner, of course, if you're hiring for a job, of course, what's going to influence somebody, or when you're looking for somebody to work, you want them to say, don't pay me, or you're hiring the wrong person. You know what I mean? Like, you get paid what you earn. If somebody's sitting down right now and they think they deserve more money, that's what I was saying. It would be in the bank. It would be there.
Yeah.
I deserve a better job. No, you don't. How? It would be there right now. Whatever you say you deserve, it's here already. You're already living it. So it's like, how do I earn it? And that makes you become the person. That's what makes somebody a beast. So like the best people to always train is like, man, how do I become better? They ask you questions like that. What can I do more, man? I feel like we're chilling out right now, bro. Like what can we do more? I'm lazy, bro. It's like 2 to 4 p.m., bro. What should we be doing between 2 to 4? Is there anything else Edwin and I could be doing? That person is trying to become somebody that holds money for a lifetime.
Well, anyway, bro, I'm on fire, bro.
It's fucking.
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you for everything.
This was good.
I appreciate the extra, the role playing and everything.
I think this was the longest podcast I've done.
Listen, bro.
It was 2 hours.
Shit,
Josh?
man. I don't know, man, but I'm pumped. I want to go running. I want to put on those shoes and hit the fucking sidewalk, bro.
I'm ready to run. At least it's good weather today.
Yeah. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for watching this podcast with Daniel G. I learned so much. I know everybody here learned so much. I'm pumped up, brother. Once again, where can people find you?
At Daniel G.
Okay, there you go, guys.
Thank you, bro.
Once again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you guys.
Let's go.